Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Hayley Osborne Show. I am so glad that you are here. This is episode 109, and in keeping with the theme of upskilling you at the moment, all around storytelling, I wanted to share with you some storytelling secrets for your small business success, right? Because there is absolutely nothing like storytelling to increase your sales inside your business. Selling on social media is like throwing water balloons at a porcupine, and selling in your marketing is like doing the same. And so many people are turned off by you selling to them. And also, on the flip side of that, when you don't have the foundations laid inside your business properly, what can happen is you always revert to selling, right? Buy this, buy that. And so you never really develop a proper caption that captivates your audience in a really meaningful and storytelling way. So I wanted to share with you a few little secrets that I've kind of built up along the way, along my journey in my business, and helping so many small business owners do the same, is to create those stories and what you can do to craft them in a really clever way to be able to convert them into sales. Before we get started, though, I do want to tell you about one of the best things that I've ever done for growing my business. And it's to get really clear on my story. My story's changed over the years from where I started my business to where I am now. And I've had to morph and change with the times, right? And at times it hasn't been easy because I started out this business with no kids, a different name and a different style of business to where I am now with kids, working under the Hayley Osborne brand. And therefore my story has had to change. It really has, because I've changed. And if I kept the same story, then what I tend to find with a lot of my clients is that they see a disconnect between themselves and their business, and they wonder why they're not getting any traction. And it's because they haven't evolved their business with themselves, and therefore haven't evolved their story with their business. Okay, so the two really need to synergize. So my story has had to change. So officially, welcome to the table, superhero storytelling, which is my 4-week experience for small business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who are really ready to discover the superpower inside their business and frame it into a dynamic story to tell. This is going to be wonderful for your business. You have clearer storytelling, beautiful messaging, and therefore an increase in sales. That is what happens when you put in the work, is the rest of everything else elevates. And within this experience, it goes for 4 weeks. It starts on the 11th of June, which is about 4 weeks away. It is open now for enrollment if you want to join, but you'll learn my best frameworks and tools that I've used to build, create, and develop what my story is today. So you can use them in your business to create your story too. So if you're feeling like you're always falling into the trap of selling because you don't know what else to write across your marketing messaging, so that could be any touch point where you reach your audiences, then it's probably time to reinvigorate what that origin story looks like for you. And I'm so beyond excited to deliver this. But it's really been designed by me with the thought in mind to help you understand what your unique strengths are and how to harness them through storytelling. It's with strategic thought that you will grow your business, not the other way around. It doesn't just come to you. You have to actually sit in it and plan it out. Okay. And this is where the magic happens. And I've worked with lots of businesses over the years. And what I've found is this is the one thing that keeps coming up as massive blocks. And it's the element that when it's nailed, the rest becomes much easier. So it feels pretty good to craft your superhero origin story and tell this proudly in so many different ways, resonating with your audience at different levels, really depending on where you're at in your journey, so that they can relate to you, right? And so don't think that just because you're in a certain stage that you're also not resonating with someone that's in a different stage too. It's you are the unique messenger. Okay, so never forget there's no unique message, but there are unique messengers, and that's you. So you need to craft out what that looks like for you. But it's time to develop the setting and the environment for your superhero narrative to be aligned everywhere your business shows up. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, your website, your emails, your out-of-home marketing. So anywhere that's not an asset of yours. So anything that you appear in. superhero storytelling is the key that's going to show you how to do this. Okay. And do it with ease and do it without throwing spaghetti at the wall, like with a bit of a plan. So you actually know what you're doing. It would feel, well, how would it feel to develop the techniques your business needs for crafting engaging and relatable superhero and villain characters that really resonate with your business and your audience? I can answer that for you, and I know that it feels pretty good. But it'll add another thing for you to talk about in your story, and that is beautiful, because then you can keep showing up really, organically looking where you are quite enjoying it, and you're not panic posting, you're not panic marketing, and you've got everything aligned and your foundations are great, which is your story. This is a really great way to explain it, actually, but it doesn't necessarily specifically mean you'll have, superheroes and villains inside your business, but more along the lines of being able to confidently describe the pros and cons inside your business without always having to refer back to selling. And I've just found that so many businesses I work with, that inside the business, when you talk about these pros and cons in a way that's super relatable to your audience from where they are currently at in their journey of potentially purchasing with you to where they want to start working with you, is a game changer. And, move over selling, okay, and get really comfy storytelling. Even if you think you're not selling, it's storytelling is still creating that brand awareness. It's still creating that top of mind brand recognition, so that when somebody needs what it is that you have to offer, that brand awareness and that continued consistency in a really beautiful way, you're the top of mind for them. You are their first choice. And I cannot tell you how often this happens to me because of the way that I show up. And because of that, I want to teach you how to do it as well. It's not as hard as you think. So I think I've spent over 15 years mastering this art, and not only for myself, but for some of the biggest brands in the world. So the time has really come. It's way overdue, actually, for me to show you how in superhero storytelling. So you can go and enroll now at superherostorytelling.com. Enrollment is open. It is my 4-week experience. It is such a beautiful way to craft your story and your origin story and peel back those layers and just really revisit that again. We start on the 11th of June. So I really look forward to seeing you on the inside. But I wanted to take you through the process, right? Which is today's podcast episode. And this is the process we're going to go through in the 4 workshops. And this is what you need to do when you story tell through your marketing to create sales, right? And what I don't want you to do is bore your audience, because no one's going to buy from you when they're bored, like, at all. And I just don't want you to forget that, because if you think you sound boring, imagine what everyone else thinks of you. So a few do's and don'ts, which, is another important thing. If you can't articulate yourself, who you are, what you do, and how you help people, then chances are that your audience don't know how they can work with you or how you can help them. So I think it's important to strip back all of that technical language and business speak and jargon and overcomplicated words, because it's only confusing and people don't resonate with that. So strip that back when you start to tell your story, and, try not to focus too much on yourself or your brand is another don't, because that is only quite polarizing as well, because it can be quite intimidating, which people kind of see as, well, it's too far out of reach for me. And, when you focus on the transformation that you provide, it is way more attainable. And then, leave plot holes, right? Where it creates a need for them to reach out to want to work with you, that, you must have what it is that they need. And, make sure as well that you understand your leverage points in your business and your, I guess, unique selling points well enough that you remember not to skip over them. Because when you skip over them, that's like the key, right, to your message, to what it is that you have to offer. So make sure that you understand what they are and don't skip over them when you are storytelling, because that will kind of be at your detriment, really. So make sure you include them. And this is something that we go through within superhero storytelling. It is 4 weeks, and it is 4 weeks of pure gold that you are going to be set up to be able to storytell your way to sales. And then don't sell your call to action too hard. Okay. So that is another thing that we go through. And I've got some really amazing ideas that I've put together for clever calls to action, which initiate the same message but aren't hard. Okay. So that is the hard way. This is the soft way. Okay. So a soft approach is far more likely to convert your audience than a harder approach. And another thing, which I found a lot, is that when you're so close to your business, you can actually overcomplicate your story and your message. So it's about making sure that it's written. I'm just going to say this in the layman terms, so that way everyone can understand it. And it goes back to the initial point of don't overcomplicate with difficult business words or acronyms or anything like that, which makes people not be able to understand what it is you're saying, because chances are they're not going to if they're not so close to, like, as close to your business as you are. And we do fall into that trap because we simplify things for ourselves that it becomes so normal in our heads. And that's how we translate in our foundations, in our marketing, in our footprint. And so try not to do that. It's really hard. Okay. So that's why I've developed this framework and this beautiful experience, because there is a real need for it, especially more than ever, because there's so many competitors in this space that you really need to do something to set yourself apart from everybody else. So get to know your audience well, and then figure out what they want. And this is something that we go through as well. And really outline your core message, what you're about, in a really organic way that really showcases you, your personality, your brand personality. If you haven't done that brand work as well, it's something that we're going to go through inside superhero storytelling to really help you understand what that is, who you are targeting. It's a little bit like avatar work, but it's brand work. And so kind of different. And if you haven't done that before in your business, now is probably the time to do it. Don't sit on the fence any longer. Nail this part of your business and the rest will come easily. I guarantee it. Be really honest as well in crafting when you craft your story. So I will help you understand what that looks like, especially if you don't want to bare your soul. So you would know, I have young children. I don't ever share their faces or them really that much on my social media or in my marketing. If you've come on the journey of in my membership, it's a bit more, I'm totally happy to share them, but to an audience that I don't know, I'm not happy to share their faces, and I don't need to. They're not my pawn. And so if you want to be honest with your audience, but you're not prepared to bare your soul, this is something I'm really good at, where I can help you to do that and go deep and get really meaningful and make it really useful for your audience. And, as well as adding in that leaving room for imagination part. So they're kind of like the do's and don'ts of storytelling. And it is an art, and it does require time and energy, but it is a necessity. Okay. So it is a huge necessity in this day and age. We're in 2024, we're in May, and with the incoming of AI and everything like that, I don't even know if that's a word, with the dawn of AI in our lives, like I feel like we're going to see a much of a muchness, a same of a sameness, and everyone is going to start to look and sound the same. And you don't want that. That is not how you are going to cut through the noise and craft a successful story to generate more sales. More sales means more profit for you, revenue and profit. Like it's a beautiful thing when you get it right. And so I know that there's definitely a need for this in business, because I see so often every day actually where we're just not doing it right because we've fallen into a trap. and you can sniff when someone has written in AI a mile away and it's not very friendly. And so I'm here to teach you otherwise, because I think it's super important that we understand a new way of working, and that is through storytelling. So the first week of this, we're going to discover your superpower, understand your unique strengths, and how to really harness them in storytelling. And I really have found that it's probably one of the most important things that you can do. And that's part of the process that I'm going to take you through. And we're going to go through in the first of the 4 modules. And then we're going to craft your origin story. So your brand's narrative, what does that look like? What's your aspirational focus? What are the inspirational elements that we can talk to and look at to help craft this, and discover what that superpower is within your business. Then the third element of this process is building your story world, right? So developing the setting and the environment for your superhero narrative to be really aligned throughout your business's footprint. Okay, so what that looks like. And then the fourth part is to craft really compelling characters. And I know you're probably thinking, Hayley, that's crazy, but it actually works, because I've done it for myself. And I also want to show you how. So it's something where you can allow your audience to empathize and really support you, which is the character, right? So it's a real empathy game, and it's about like creating what that looks like and defining the relationships between the light and dark within your business. And it's fun. It's so fun. And that's when like the real magic happens within your business. So I would love for you to join me in this. And they're just a couple of my do's and don'ts when you are looking at crafting a really compelling story and narrative, and just to take your audience on a different kind of journey with you than you already are. Okay, so selling on your social media, selling through your marketing, selling through call to actions that are way too strong. I'm going to teach you how not to do that. To actually story tell your way to sales. Have softer calls to action that mean the same thing. Have amazing hooks that take your audience through your caption. Because when you've got a really good hook, a story, and a call to action, your audience are going to be more encouraged to purchase from you. Anyway, okay, that's about enough from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope that some of my secrets have been absorbed. If not, go back and have another listen to this episode. I've thoroughly enjoyed sharing this with you. It lights me up so much. Superhero storytelling is ready for you to enroll now at superherostorytelling.com. It is my 4-week beautiful experience. We start on June 11, and I would love to see you inside. Okay, have a great day. Bye.